Okay, all right there. You're nothing, and you'll never be nothing. All right then. This is Homer Cocktail doing some vlogging. Homer Cocktail 34 here, I think. Pretty sure we'll do this at 34. That was Family Guy, or from memory. I don't know if it's a direct quote. Peter Griffin says it's his job as a father to project his inadequacies onto his children or his son, He's yelling at Chris. He's getting drunk and everything. Hello, booby. This guy's deaf, so he didn't hear me. Connie. See how I snuck up on him? Booby. Anyhow, you're nothing, and you'll never be nothing. That's funny. I got a call from Prudential Life Insurance for a job interview, and kind of want to talk about mentality. And usually I try to keep these clips to around 10 minutes, even though I could go a little longer. Little happy dog here. It's early June in 2013 right now, and I started the job hunt. A little more serious than it's been in a long time, at least. This past week, and I've applied already to be an English teacher, actually, at a Disney program in China. I'd love to do that. I went to Pitzer College in Claremont starting in the 90s, but it took me until 2011 to graduate, a couple of years ago. I came, like a hair short of graduating in 98, and it's an expensive school to go to. It took a long time for me to finally graduate. But what I want to talk about before I go off on any side roads is people in your life, your so-called support system. People that have literally seen you crapping in diapers, stuff like that. When I was younger, I'm talking about like 5 years old, maybe even before 5 years old. I used to yell at my mom. If I didn't get what I want, Mom, and they nicknamed me Vavoom. My mom did, and my sister, one of my sisters, used to call me Vavoom because I used to yell. It's their way of getting me to stop doing that. Vavoom was a character in Felix the Cat that was able to scream and knock down mountains. But I'm here thinking about, it's been 2 years since I finally got my bachelor's, and I said to myself, if something doesn't come up really quick within a year after me graduating, I should really go out there and start the job hunt. But it's been 2 years since I got really serious about it. So I got a call from Prudential, and I've interviewed before with big, strong companies. In 2005, I moved to Hollywood and interviewed with American Express Financial Advisors, and made it to the second interview. And I was living in an apartment with there was 7 people the day I moved there, and went down to 6 pretty quick, but it was a 1-bedroom apartment. And I knew that if they didn't give me some money up front, and I've read online, once in a while you should ask for an advance, but I asked for an advance for American Express Financial Advisors because it just wasn't going to happen. It wasn't pragmatic to think that I could do the studying that it took with goddamn chaos going on all the time. They were, I played guitar, and there's a couple of other guitar players there, and these people were in entertainment, and they had jobs that were around the clock. But what I wanted to get across here, though, is this idea of internalizing. One of my sisters, my oldest sister, I have 3 sisters, came down to visit about a month ago. And usually when they come down, we start reflecting on old times. And the yelling at people, for the most part, hey, I grew out of that. By the time I was on the Angels, a Little League baseball team when I was like 11 or 12, hey man, I was a team player. But my oldest sister reminded me of, like when I first started playing baseball, that I had a temper or whatever, and I used to yell at people for making mistakes or, whatever it was. And this vlog here is that people grow up, eventually I learned calculus and people develop. I learned political correctness in communications classes. I have a communications degree, associates. People change over life. You develop skills and everything. And, it's funny when you do hang out with people that knew you from childhood. And I'm not sure if some people get past it, or I'm not sure if people see the potential that like a teacher or an employer would see, and I know a lot of it's joking and all, that hey, you're this way, you're that way. Well, that's the way you remember me from when I was a kid. And hey man, in some ways, hey, you haven't grown up in certain ways, I haven't grown up in certain ways. And that's a good thing. In a lot of ways, it's a good thing because we could be loose around each other. I don't want to go too much into it, but I'm psyching myself out right now to returning the phone call from Prudential because it's setting in, and that's what's important here. A year after I graduated Pitzer, man, it took way too long. It took a lot longer than I wanted it to take. It didn't set in yet. A year after my graduation, right when I graduated, I'm still pinching myself. Fuck, man. After all these years, I finally graduated, And a year afterwards, I'm still like, you know what, man? I don't know. And then, finally, about a month ago, I'm like, hey, man, I'm a graduate. I have a bachelor's. Go fucking do something to find a job where you believe you're supposed to be in the field doing the job for which you study in school, right? So we're almost at 9 minutes right now. Hey, little poopy. That's pretty much all. I think I have some things written on my hand like people do. Yeah, that's it. Pretty much it. Let's see here. No, someone's walking by. Anyhow, I got a backlog still. It's not a big backlog. I took care of a lot of it. Homer Cocktail 24. But I might go ahead and put some backlog videos on after this one. So, that's all I got, man. Woohoo!